Good afternoon, and welcome to DieDragonDie presents the Legends campaign. I'm your demon host, Marty, joined by Mark and Adam this week. How is everyone doing? Let me unmute their mic so that they can speak to you.
I just trimmed my first old man nose hair that's growing to who the hell knows. I cut like a half inch of hair off. I didn't put the scissors in my nose, just along the edge of my nose and just snip.
So Adam's having a bad day.
I was just like, it's boggling my mind. Why does it look like a pubic hair? How, like, what is going on?
Welcome to the beginning of middle age, I guess. Is that what?
Oh, that is what that is.
Wait a sec. Does this mean I get my convertible? When does the convertible
no,
happen?
you're a little bit far enough away for your midlife crisis, but
all right.
yeah, it starts there.
It starts here. That nose hair.
The other thing that's going to happen is joining this stash. It wants to grow. Oh, gross! No, I don't let any of my nose hairs grow into my beard. Just in case you're wondering. Have you found your long ear hair yet?
I wear. These actually are on all the time, so I don't know what's going on under them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I haven't checked. I'll go on the hunt for the Red October in my ear.
And Mark, you've got gray hairs that pop up like on your head.
Oh, I've got tons of gray hairs.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got tons.
Yeah. Mine is coming into my beard now as well. So.
Yeah. I have red and orange hairs. I have no grays. I've got the Irish and the Scots hair coming through. You don't have the greys.
But your forehead's kind of pushing.
Oh no! Oh yeah! There's a whole story of the giving up of the. Yeah. No. There's a depending which way you brush the hair. There's issues. There's a reason why there's no more ponytail.
It's receded a little bit, but then it stopped receding, and that's when I grew in the beard, kind of to balance it all out.
See, this line used to come up. So this triangle here. That wasn't like this before.
I got it.
And I've got photographic proof that this triangle there.
Right.
I've got one friend at my karate club, and his hair is really starting to thin. But like when he was a younger man, he used to shave his head, and he's like, "I'm thinking of starting to shave my head soon." But my wife doesn't want to. But I told her, once this starts to become its own sovereign state, we're done. It's going. It's gone.
Yeah.
See, Mark's actually my senior. Adam's a few years younger than us, so it's funny to hear him complain about things where we're like, "Yeah, we got over that already."
Yeah, we're over that.
Annoying the first few times, sure, but it's like, no, you just buy a little thing and then you go. Zzz.
Wait till you gotta get up in the wait till you gotta get up in the middle of the night to pee several nights in a row. You're gonna wonder, is this gonna be every fucking night now?
I think that's you, Mark. I can go through it the entire night without peeing.
I usually can.
Okay, all right.
But I didn't used to have to. Oh, I better go before I go to bed, or I'm gonna wake up because I'm old now.
All right. So yes,
signs of your own mortality.
We are aging beings, which is kind of a good segue into the elven game that we're going to play tonight. Mark, how was your week? I
was busy.
Yep.
Very busy. Like 60+ hours at work. It was just nuts.
Overtime's good.
Yeah, I'll appreciate the pay, that's for sure. But
cool.
But very busy.
So I did sign a contract with a new job. I'm not going to announce exactly what it is yet because I don't know what the rules are with the new job and basically what we're doing right now. So I will wait on that. But I will be moving to a new apartment the next week. I basically move out. I take possession on the 1st, and then my movers come on the 10th. So there'll be a few days of me running back and forth and moving stuff on my own.
Middle class bastard with the I'm just pay people to move my stuff for me.
No, I'm going to spend 10 days sticking things into my very tiny car and driving 40 minutes to my new place, and you know, I will do that for a week. But yeah, for some of the big stuff, yes.
Okay. And you're doing some of it yourself, which is nice.
And I haven't bought a new bed or a new couch in probably close to a decade. Well, the bed 5 years, the couch.
Because you don't love your own spine.
Yeah, my spine is going to get some new love with a new bed and a new couch. So I'm sure you guys will see it in my new place because I think in my living room is where the streaming is going to happen, but we'll see. So I've got lots of...
And that is where the bed is going to go.
Adam, that is another sign you're getting old, is when you think about buying a new mattress and you're like, and you lie down on it and you're like, oh yes, Oh yes, this is where my money is going for the next 3 months.
Well, yeah, I went into the store. He's like, "Do you like firm mattresses?" And I'm like, "Yes, I need a firm mattress because my back will ache." And he has a chuckle, and I lay down on a few beds. I'm like, "Nope, no, this is not firm enough." He's like, "Okay, here's almost the firmest bed in the place." I'm like, "Okay, yes, I can feel my back not, crinking or my, Anyways, okay,
I spent a year in China living, sleeping on a bamboo bed, and I got spoiled because the bamboo bed of no, it's just weaved bamboo that you threw a thin little thing on. Yeah, your arm or shoulder went to sleep if you ever slept on your side, but your back was bulletproof.
Shiraz, how was your week, man? As we're just getting a few tokens out here. So this week, we are going to switch to the second characters that each of the players is going to create. Of course, last game we got to the point where they were using the Baldur's Bottle to bring Azildan back. There are, basically when Azildan comes back, if you count the characters that Mark has, he'll have Altagar and Azildan to kind of even it out and to create this really large party for the second half of the campaign. Basically, their second level epic characters is the way that I'm looking at it. They're each going to create a second character so that Adam has 2 characters, and then Ahmed also has 2 characters. Ahmed's busy with some work-life stuff right now, so we're going to do Donnovan's backstory. Donnovan is an elf bard sorcerer that Adam has created. I think he's going to be very different from Uker.
Yeah, that's another hyper-masculine character. I don't know.
Polar opposite might be the. They both like bright colors. That's about the big thing that draws them together. Is they both like bright and shiny things.
Got it. So why don't we pull up a token for Donnovan? Did I create a token for Donnovan?
Yes, you did.
I did. Token library, legends, characters. We've got. We called him Metatron. Is that his nickname, or is that?
That was a nickname. I chose to go with. Right now it's just Donnovan. Something more natural. It was one of the before I had Donnovan picked. Okay. That was just the placeholder.
Yeah, and given that we've all had kind of chaotic weeks, this is going to be a little bit chaotic to get set up. I'm not as admittedly prepared as I hoped that I would have been. And it looks like Sharask was busy as well. Not quite 60 hours, but bad enough. Alright. So gaming. Gaming is how we kind of, reset and let all of our creative juices flow.
So there is a law in life that says what Marty writes and what Adam writes for the same word shall not use the same letters nor the same combinations.
Oh, do we just spell things differently?
Yes.
Donnovan, it has no double N.
Right.
Okay. Donovan. Okay, yeah, Donnovan. All right.
Yeah, Donnovan.
I didn't just stick some superfluous H into the name.
No, well, I think that's my job. Donnovan. Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to we will snap back to the other Legends characters after we've done Azildan's backstory. I would kind of like to do Azildan's backstory the third, and kind of have that really fresh in our minds when Azildan basically opens up his eyes and has to live with his current condition.
What condition? He's coming
back.
What
condition are we talking about here?
Life.
Okay,
what condition it is. All right, okay.
Guilt.
What do you mean?
Having just come from hell.
He didn't do nothing wrong.
Yes.
I was framed. See, I was framed.
Now, one of the things that we did during the backstories, which was fun, was everyone had a bit piece. And I'm a fan of always trying something new within the confines of our game. So, actually, at one point tonight, I'm going to hand the DM reins off to Mark. And Mark is going to DM a backstory scene for Adam's character. And this is sort of an experiment. It might flop, it might go well, and if it goes well enough, we might start doing this in the future for these scenes that are not integral to the immediate kind of, like, plot line and timeline of, like, the adventure. Like, kind of like these side plot lines. And if it really goes well, we might invite Mark to do a scene in the other campaign, Demon Watch. I mean, it's just something that, you know, we've all been sitting around the table for many years, and I know both Adam and Mark are capable of DMing. They've DM'd for me, and I've had a lot of fun playing in their stories as well. So,
as long as you give Marty enough stuff to do.
Yes. Yes. Adam, whenever I play in one of Adam's games, basically he goes, Marty, here, create your party.
Here,
and then run
you
it.
create 4 characters. I'll create a support NPC.
So I will help out with Mark's with Mark's story. I actually don't know what his scene is. Because both of us have been busy and kind of throwing everything together at the last bit. Like, I've done some prep, but I don't know what Mark's scene is, so I'm going to be interested to see how this turns out. So, for Donnovan...
The elves do have BDSM clubs, right? I'm kidding. That's not like that.
I'm pretty certain they have the best NPC ever created, right? Mr. McGivens? Moneybag McGivens, whatever his name was. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we go,
Richie McGivens. That was his name.
We go from the prime world of I wanted to say Valderis. No, from Vosgard, where the current heroes are residing, and we go instead to the verdant world of Lyria. A verdant world little touched by advanced civilizations. The elves of Crucible came to Lyria long ago and built a quiet colony of Myth Loros. During the dragon's fall on Crucible, many elves escaped from the dragon-wrought cataclysms and the interesting fighting between the Draco Lords and that dominated their world, and from the betrayal of Ashimmernax, the arch-traitor, to their little colony of Lyria. It never was intended to be a refuge for several thousand elves. But the coronel at the time realized that they were fighting a war that they could not win, and that too much loss had happened. And over time, slowly moved elves and many of their great works. We're talking 20,000, 30,000 years of history for 1 million elves on Crucible have been reduced to essentially a cross between a museum and a curio shop in a great grand grown structure of a massive tree. And I'll show you a picture of Myth Loros as seen from the outside. This artwork is from, give me a moment, Figment.com. Back to Earth roleplay Figment. Wonderful, a wonderful piece of artwork. That this is from the outside what Myth Loros looks like. Donnovan, you suspect that they grew Myth Loros this way for several reasons. And the reasons may run deeper than this, but superficially. It was so that the elves themselves did not disturb or frighten the local tribesfolk. Myth Loros did have creatures and sentience living upon it. Venarin, there are tribes of them that are in the endless forests and jungles that are on Myth Loros. Venarin are kind of like monkey folk, although calling them that might be insulting. That's not to say that there aren't some elves that do call them that.
Are there monkeys on Lyria?
Knowledge nature.
I can do that.
Your first roll for your character are there monkeys on this world?
Yes. I am 6th level me, or...
Yeah, you're 6th level you. Go ahead.
6th level me. 13. This might not go well.
Yeah, there are primates.
There are monkeys. They are called Venarin. Okay.
And then one of the other tribes that is also in the world that has contact with Myth Loros are the catfolk. You're pretty sure that there are other races out there. I'll acknowledge local Myth Loros to see if you...
Okay,
Or
I've got...
knowledge local Lyria is probably it. It's probably everything outside of Myth Loros.
I have both local and Lyria.
Okay,
so.
give me a knowledge...
Okay. Knowledge local Lyria. 27.
There's a race that isn't commonly seen called the Strix. They live in mountainous regions and they're very xenophobic.
Are they bug people?
Mark, what are Strix?
They're bird people.
Okay.
Angry bird people.
These are the three known races of sentience that are out there. There may be sentient monsters, and Myth Loros has been around for at least a millennia, and it was only about 300-400 years ago, within living memory for some elves, that the Exodus happened. That the Coronal basically ordered the Exodus, and 5 great houses and many lesser houses of elves came to Myth Loros. Now, the politics of Myth Loros, I don't know how interested in Donnovan is into this, but there are 5 great houses of Myth Loros itself, and it's maybe worth mentioning kind of what these houses are. The 5 great houses they have each a seat on a council, and we'll get into the council's much larger than that, but they kind of determine elven actions within Myth Loros. And I mentioned the 5 major houses because Myth Loros on the inside is different. Each of the 5 great houses, and then the Coronal himself, maintain a magical mansion within the tree that is essentially an extra-dimensional space that constantly gets moved around or grows or has its own defenses, so that the comforts of the elves can still be had while not changing the outside look and
So there's like the prime directive with 5 mini kingdoms within the super tree.
Yes, so yeah, we got to the reasons why it was grown. Why also it was grown this way, and there are a lot of rumors about what's going on with the Coronal. The Coronal is like an elven king. Coronal Renthil is a druid, and they whisper that he is becoming part of the tree. For living memory, you remember seeing the Coronal walking around when you were a child, but you're pretty sure in the last 200 years, he has never left his seat, which is kind of growing out of the middle of this main chamber within the tree itself. The tree is also kind of the lifeblood of what is called a mythal. Give me a knowledge arcana to see if you know what a mythal is.
All right. A knowledge arcana. 28.
A mythal is an epic level ceremony that is conducted by usually a council of elves. It could be divine and arcane. That results in an area that has like a field of magic that then imparts powers, some public, some secret, to all those that dwell within the mythal, and then to those that have certain tokens in the mythal. So a mythal may have public powers, but then it may also have secret powers that only those that know the secret words or the secret components can access. The mythal of Myth Loros, the public powers of this mythal, and it's probably worth writing down because you're kind of a bard and you like learn little tidbits and that sort of thing. So I'll let you keep track of this. The public powers of the mythal are, with a 28, constant endure elements to all elven blooded.
Okay.
You're kind of in a warm temperate area, so it just makes things nice and breezy. And
it's so that the locals can't see elves sweat.
Upon reaching adulthood, you are taught the command word for a once per day cure light wounds. You have to be within a mile of the tree for this.
Cool.
And then the last public thing is that nobody in Myth Loros, and this may be something you may have to figure out how it works, but nobody in Myth Loros is getting sick. Disease is no longer a thing.
They're all 5th level monks.
But I don't want to be a 5th level monk. So on the side of politics, you asked a question about whether or not Donnovan would be driven by this.
Yep.
He would want. He has respect for the coronel.
Yes.
And would like to prove himself worthy enough to perform for him in his duties on the chair. He deserves a good show. So this would be a goal for him to perform for the coronel as he protects everyone.
So House Renthil is the royal house. Coronel Renthil the Wise. He basically has there's only just one name. It's kind of like Prince. There are other reasons why he's he was the one that ordered the retreat. He was around at the planting of this tree over 1,000 years ago, and he has married a dryad, which the elves have they've accepted. It's a coronel, but there's a major sense of contention that his bloodline is not pure anymore, or that has become fey. Consort Aldalume, the Dryad Queen, the tree is her tree. She lives at the center of a mythal that is connected to the tree, or like the tree in the mythal are one, and she's the dryad of the tree.
It is very important that they live happily ever after and have no marital difficulties for everyone involved.
There is an
Get out! Pack your bags and your family and get out!
There is an heir that is protected and kept very, very isolated from the politics of the other elves, and his name is Rendarti the Young. Okay. This leaves 5 other houses, one of which is Del Kuun.
Okay.
Del Kuun, their elder is the Grand Magus of the school of magic called the Stratum of High Arcana. The Stratum is a library, an arcane college, a source of lore. They're very powerful. They're not the only wizarding family, if you will. They do have a budding student that is talked about as being a genius, and his name is Oberon Del Kuun. Oberon is going up in the path of Arcanist as well as wizard, and some are speaking that he is bending the rules of magic to become a white wizard, i.e. a wizard that can heal. And he seems to be the young pride of the House Del Kuun.
I'm not certain why they'd be so proud of that. I mean, bards.
House Del Kuun is amongst 4 families that were originally commissioned to found the colony. And House Del Kuun, along with House Farrell and House Vrel, are the 3 big wizard-type families that helped create the mythal a long time ago. You doubt that any of the current members of these 3 houses could repeat such a feat. The mages of long ago, the ones that spent their power to try to fight the dragons and against the Draco cataclysms, they're all gone.
Did anybody die to make a mythal, or is this something that you make and you don't have to die to do it?
There could be sacrifice involved in mythal creation. You've heard of stories of wizards giving up their ability to cast magic as a sacrifice.
So that would be salty. You now have a 20th level commoner.
On the other hand, why do you think there's no humans on this world? I'm kidding.
Delpoon, Feral, Vrel, they're heavily entwined in Mythic. We'll learn more about them as we go along. There's House Delembria. They were an old, proud house that financed the creation of the colony. So they knew about the colony, and they knew this was a place to go and run to when things got really bad. And they essentially have been given something called the Resplendent Seal, which they proudly kind of purvey and parade around. It's a gift from the Cornel that basically says all business concerns belong to them.
Well,
Any trade or like a trade with the outside or creation of trade routes or that sort of thing, they manage it.
what is their view on the difference between art and business?
They also maintain a vault that contains some of the greatest treasures of Elvendom, and that's what that's one of the penances or price that they have to pay, is to maintain this vault. The last house is a house that called Vester Valoon. It was two old houses that didn't have enough people to really survive, so they combined their house through marriages and bonds and allegiances. Their claim to fame is that they sponsor an elite group of elves that are called the Sojourners. The Sojourners are kind of like all the young elves want to be a Sojourner. Being a Sojourner means you get to go out of the mythal. A Sojourner means you get to use one of the greatest artifacts that the mythal has, called the Songgate, to go to other worlds. They have a mandate to go and collect things elven that have fallen into non-elven hands, and to help elves throughout the prime material and beyond. These are heroes that when they come back, strutting through the Songgate, are cheered.
They're the cool kids.
By the young generation. By the generation of elves that were born in Myth Loros. You think that there's something wrong with the other generation. The ones the ones that are old enough to remember the Dragonrot cataclysms. The ones that spend their days toiling, cataloging things. 1 million elves, 30,000 years worth of treasures, books, artifacts, magical trinkets, items of historical significance. This place is chock full of things. You probably have a paperweight at home that was some like important thing to some dynasty of elves that have died out long ago. Like the royal seal that was used for 1,000 years on this elven kingdom, and it's like a paperweight that it is just this thing that sits on your desk.
The paper doesn't blow away, though, so, I mean, it's still serving its purpose. It's,
There are the Grand Archivist. He's an elderly elf that they keep on putting in front of him. He has like a 300-year-long project that involves cataloging every single artifact and book and thing that came from Crucible. He's an old, elderly elf that, because you spend some time in the archives, there are neat things down there. There are things that elves haven't seen in 100 years that are chalked in these half library, half museum. There are some dangerous things, and that's why you're not allowed to go into certain parts of the archive. The unexplored, unarchived vaults. But of course, that has never stopped you.
how hard are they to get into is the real question.
There is an old man that you sort of feel sorry for, and he is the Grand Archivist, Cherik Vrel, and I've got a token for him. Might as well plop it down. So I'm sorry for the long exposition, but I kind of wanted to give you a sense of where it is that you were from.
The world.
The world. The peoples. And where did my... Oh, there we go. Hidden behind windows.
Jorge.
And I'll go to the conversation layer, and I'll add the old man elf. There is a young generation of elves, like 6 of you, that are budding artists. But your parents, at least your father, didn't always think that you would be... There's the Grand Archivist, Sherrick.
Oh, you're so sad. Oh.
You've watched him. He'll spend a day just staring at a thing, probably trying to remember what it is. Just his job is to remember and record.
I don't want that job. Much rather create.
In your early
something new.
In your early days, there was an event, kind of a coming-of-age event. Now, an elven year is 4 years, 4 turns of the of the seasons. Mm-hmm. Like 16 seasons go by, and that's an elven year. An elven year could go by, and you might not see your friends. Especially with the older elves. They're so busy with what they're doing and living their lives in their own free way. Like, free to pursue whatever it is that you want. That it's not uncommon for long periods of time to go by while you're pursuing your craft or your art. Your father's a smith.
I don't want to be a smith, Father. I want to sing.
There was that going on
conversation
in Donovan's family. So your father, you can paste his name. His name is Druindar Dullahan. Your father's a smith. He was also, because all the several thousand elves have some responsibility, that he is also the caretaker of the 5 lost blades. You can give me a knowledge arcana check if you want to know what these things are.
Yeah, yes. Don't mind me. My brain is telling me I don't know how to spell caretaker, and I'm kind of embarrassed right now. Knowledge arcana. Don't worry, I'll figure out how to spell caretaker. I can do it. I have a job. 28 is my knowledge arcana.
There, that's how you spell caretaker.
This looks good to me. No, it's care and then taker. I was putting his H in there, and I was like, why doesn't this work? I was like character. I was writing out. I was like, why can't?
So you spent some time watching your father, and it's like he would bend metal and go into the forge, and you liked the part where he added magic to things. That was kind of neat to watch. But give me a craft arms and armor to see how well you do in your, say, first 5 years of your early apprenticeship with your father.
23.
Okay,
that's my int check.
So
that's so bad. Now he thinks I can do it.
Yeah, now it's gonna be worse.
For a decade of your life, Donnovan, you spent time at the forge with your father 6 days out of the week. I will make it a 10-day week, so 8 days of the week.
he keeps getting caught like using the anvil like a drum.
Keep time. Your father says.
I'll use you as a drum.
Your father always
Yes,
just gives you this stern look. He's a man of few words. You got through it by kind of imagining the sounds of the forge as music. And your mother, you enjoyed spending time with your mother because she was a lot less. She had a lot less. She came from a different school of thought, where you shouldn't instruct a child in their art and allow them to play. Whereas your father's family came from, no, children are supposed to have good discipline, and through good discipline they eventually gain the right to be free.
Learned good skills from both, but just need to find the right craft, the right way to emote. I hate forges. Hot, sweaty, blisters.
So
horrible.
dirty.
Don't tell your father that. That would crush him.
I know, Mother. He's picking at the skin on his finger.
You realize that you're give me a second. I'll put this down. That the Day of Talents is coming.
Knowledge.
Local?
Local Myth Loros.
Sure.
23.
Okay. The Day of Talents is where the village, which is a concept in Elvendon. The village doesn't just mean the village that you're in, but it means the community in which that you live, where everyone kind of contributes to the community.
Awesome.
You know, Kara good kind of
Kind
stuff.
of definition of
Yep.
border. The border is where it is in your mind. That's where the border is.
The community is the community gathers when it's appropriate, when there's enough young folk, to basically, it's like an elven talent show for children, where they display their first art. Art meaning the first thing that they created on their own, which then determines usually how they'll spend the first block of their life in apprenticeship. While you've been apprenticing under your father, it's just been kind of like you've been picking up things here and there, and he's slowly been teaching you. This talent show, which you get the sense that your father expects a blade or some tool to be crafted in his forge to be displayed in the Day of Talents. And then either he or one of the other few smiths in town will then kind of take you under their wing as an apprentice.
Oh, there's not even a lot of blacksmiths. Oh, he's going to be so disappointed.
Time to crush your father's dreams.
Mother, I don't.
Your mother's name is Cyrodiil Azariah. Cyrodiil is her family is a family of artists and goodly priests, oracles. She's deeply spiritual. I wouldn't call it religious, I would call it spiritual. And you know that the songs that you sing with your mother, or do you? Give me a knowledge religion.
I will knowledge religion your pants off. Alright, here we go. Their pants on, they're about to come off. That's how good this knowledge religion is going to be. 25!
There are notes that your mother can sing where she says and has claimed, and you've seen, inexplicably, cause a divine reaction. She can make into being divine magic through song. In the same way that priests create divine magic through prayer. She's been teaching you these notes. And these notes, you know, come from a very old book that has sheet music in it. And they're glorious songs. You also notice that some of the pages she never touches. There are parts of the book that she doesn't sing from. She's taught you many happy songs. Some of them have parables in them. Some of them are giving praise to specific deities. And she quietly teaches you as she's using these songs, and she says, the gods love their praise. There are some things that are the food and the drink of the gods. Prayer is how we speak to them and make our devotion and wishes known to them. And sometimes they do answer. And priests have a close connection with their deities, where they too know the words and the prayers that the gods like to hear. But it is through song that we remind the gods that for all of our imperfections, that we too, mortals, can be beauty, that we have value, that we are unique.
So all the gods can hear when we sing?
Some believe that when you say a god's name, they can hear the next 7 words that are spoken after it. Why not make those words songs, so that your voice can rise above the others that just speak in simple tones?
Why do the priests devote themselves to a god? Why do they only talk to one at a time? There are many that are good. There are many that heal. Why only? Why aren't they village as well amongst them?
Is it not a good thing to have a single husband or a single wife?
Is it not a good thing to help your many neighbors?
A deeper connection can be had with one. That is the way with the priests. The oracles cry out to many, although some are still favored.
Homage is heed from beyond the spirit realm. Is it... Mother, why don't we ever look at the other half of the book? Why don't you look at the other half of the book?
I have glanced at those notes, and those notes are full of flats and notes that are wrong. Not all of the gods mean us well. There are some that are capricious and unkind, and there are some that would seek our ruin and pain.
Should we not show them our worth? Tell them that we are free or strong or good?
these notes, this language. There are some that would wish to suppress it. It is not well known. This is 1,000 years, maybe 10, of bardic knowledge, of divine favors. But through your songs, should you learn more of these notes, you could not only speak to the gods, but ask them to judge the quality of your voice, the beauty of your song. And if they are pleased, they may listen to your prayers. For now, we shall sing of their graces and keep them happy. For now, we will speak to the gods that we know are our friends.
Yes, mother. He's trying to figure out a way to satisfy his parents' needs. Well, not completely sacrificing his own.
Yep. The book is so old that it doesn't really have a title. It's just a collection of music sheets. You could call it the Songs of the Gods or the Divine...
I'm a read the book, by the way. My face wondering if it's someplace where it's like accessible, it gets read.
Okay, so you take sneaking peeks at the book. There are things in here that are beyond you in the same way that, you know, you're playing simple notes and then you've got this really complex, these really complex scales and...
fuck is that symbol?
Yeah,
I don't know what that... La 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 la.
Complex scales and symbols that you don't know the meanings of, and then just complex by the, you know, the sheer changes of them and then the different tempos.
It's probably the key at the beginning. If you don't know what that key means, the key symbol, then good luck, have fun.
Yeah, it's like staring at calculus after you've learned fractions.
So X must stand for 4, because in this one,
right,
X is 4. So that means
this you realize that, or will realize later on, could represent your life's work. It is nice, however, that the songs start simple.
Yeah. In the forge, I'm gonna try to make a tuning fork.
Okay.
So that I can use a tuning fork at the competition to pick the starting pitch, and then not talk about tuning forks or the forge for whatever the show is. But so there was something from the forge.
So you're gonna use your knowledge of forging that you've been.
I'm gonna take a piece of metal and bend it till when I hit it, it goes. Bing!
Got it. All right. So there are some people that are at many of the people of the important townsfolk do come out to listen to the. Or to watch the talent show. Are there any friends, Mark, that Donnovan has that might also be showcasing their talents when they're young elves?
Sorry, I muted myself for chip eating purposes. Yes, there are. There is at the young age. There is an artist who calls himself Hetty. He's a painter. You suspect he's from one of the 5 houses related in some way. Because when people ask him, well, your last name is, and No, no. I don't want it to affect my work. There's also Leandil Sorthe. She's a talented harpist who is showcasing her talents.
Okay.
And there's also Vashana Vrel. She is a member of the House Vrel. And she is also a songstress.
Oh, no.
And I don't think the other guy will be in this year.
All right. Added to the list are Rala and Solshar. And I've got their tokens on the map. Do you have
Is that Johnny Depp with weird makeup on?
Yes, that is Johnny Depp from... I actually saw that movie.
From I Saw That movie?
No, it's what's that? Shadows. The weird soap opera.
Oh,
Dark Shadows. That's what it was.
All right.
Okay.
So I need tokens for the people that you created, right, Mark?
Yeah, artist NPCs.
Okay.
There we go.
Let me just create those. Who is up first?
Hetty. At this time in his career, he's only doing painting.
Rochambeau for it?
Rochambeau? No. Hetty. Okay. So I got these are young budding artists. Some of these people might actually be your friends, Donnovan. Does Hetty have a family, like a major family? It's okay if he doesn't.
He does. He's from House Delimbril.
Okay. I may have spelled Delimbril wrong, but... Alright, there's Hetty. And he's young, so I'll make him small, because you guys are little young elves at this point in time.
Yes.
Alright, so what is Hetty's, you said he's a...
He's a painter at this time in his career.
Painter? Okay.
It will change.
And what is his talent that he's showing?
His talent is art right now. Like painting, drawing.
Okay, and then what is his specific art that he's showing off?
Right, it's a painting he created of his mother.
Aw.
Oh.
And how good is it?
I guess I would have to make a roll. Well, he'd be showcasing his best.
You take
I'm
off
sure.
your good
Yeah.
one, right?
You take your best. So he's quite talented.
Okay. Is there anything particular striking about his mother?
She has two shades. She's a streak of red hair in her otherwise almost pale blonde locks.
Okay, so he seems to have captured that really well. There are others, like there are some significant number of elves and important people that have come to this group. While they're showing off the painting, you can see that there are some people, murmuring at this. There are important heads of families, and all the families are represented here. If we're going down the row, Grand Archivist Charik Vrel seems to be standing there and just sort of staring at the painting, almost like he is not enthused in that it's one more thing that he'll eventually have to catalog, because you're pretty sure that once he's done cataloging things that come from Crucible, he might have to start cataloging stuff that is newly created in the 300 years that elves have been
we should get him like the Dewey Decimal System or something to, one of those scalable.
Okay.
All right, there's this guy, and you don't know if you like him or not, but he's always moving. You think that he might be part wood elf. He's never wearing a shirt. He's got a puka shell necklace on.
All right, surf bro.
He's like, when do we start? And like, it's already started. Hey, what's your talent? And you notice that there are a bunch of elves kind of like...
Huh.
Does it move or something? And the archivist kind of pokes him.
Oh no.
Whispers to him. Oh, good job, buddy. Good job.
You know what? The description of you don't know if you like him or don't like him? That's a good description. I like, but I don't know if I like him.
Does it move? And the kid looks crushed. Yeah, there are magical painters out there that, you know, one day he might be able to create that, but he has not created a magical painting of his mother at, you know, the age of 20. For an elf, this is like you're a toddler almost. Yeah, so Hetty looks crushed at Devon. You do notice that this satyr-like creature, a Dazeba half-elf, or half-fae, was the Queen Dryad's daughter from another marriage before she married the Coronel.
Not only did you marry some wood thing, it wasn't even the first marriage of the wood thing.
Actually, not even a marriage. She was born out of wedlock.
There is stories about the tree whore or whatever that float around this place.
Yep. She's got kind of like fawn legs, you know, kind of like the backward legs. She's a peerless archer, like a very good archer. She does go over and just gives Devon a jut into his ribs. Devon goes, huh? Like he jabbed him hard. And he barely.
He doesn't even. Yeah, wait, you're barbarian. You got natural armor, or exam introduction.
All right, who's next? Is what he's saying.
Eddie, don't worry. It's really nice. It's nice.
It doesn't move though.
Rendarti is the Coronel's son. He's heir to all this mess, and he's constantly got that sort of like anime gaze where he's sort of looking through you. And there seems to always be this favorable wind moving his hair slightly. There's an unearthly grace that is about Rendarti as he's just sort of watching his subjects, his future subjects, showing off their budding talents before they become. Kenny, we are doing the backstory of Adam's second character, who's Donnovan. He's a bard, sorcerer, elf from Myth Loros, which is the same place that Oberon is from. Oh, yeah, Oberon is actually up here. Oberon is on stage. Child Oberon. This is back in the past.
Baby Babu Obi-Wan. Oberon.
Let's see if I can find Oberon's miniature. Did I move him to some afterlife or something? Is he dead? Where's Oberon? There's Oberon. He's fidgeting. And he's right before Donnovan. I really would hope if Devon wasn't here, he says. He makes me nervous. What if I screw up my spells?
Leander looks behind, says, I'm sure it'll be fine, Oberon. I'm sure you're very good. And he means well. He's not really judging you. He's just asking questions.
What if my dad wants me to be a blacksmith? I don't want to be a blacksmith. I don't want to be a blacksmith. I need to show them that we spells anyway. Hitting an anvil all day, ears ringing at night. No.
Have you told him?
There's some
no.
clapping. There's some clapping now going on as the elves are showing the. They asked him questions about his painting, and he's talking about the red streak and how it matches the autumn, and he seems to be recovering from from Devin's crushing display. But there's clapping going on, like he's done. Like the next person's going to come up.
Yeah.